What's up, everybody? This is Justin with Bite and Fight Angler, and I just wanted to do a quick recap of the Saturday's Redfish tournament for the Saltwater Survival Series. I actually lucked out and won big trout, heaviest trout, so that was a big, that was a happy feeling after I tell you the experience that I had. So after tossing and turning all night long, thinking about where I wanted to go, keeping an eye on the weather because the wind was going up, going down, going up, going down. I wasn't for sure where I wanted to go, but I made a choice and I decided what I was going to do. And I left home about 3 o'clock in the morning just to get to this one spot that I wanted to hit. And it's a pretty long marsh system. I wanted to get all the way in the back because we had south winds, and that keeps the water in the marshes, and it actually allows the redfish to push all the way back, and it doesn't really drop too much out. So I knew that, well, I didn't know. I figured that they were going to be in the very, very back of this marsh system. And so I woke up at 3 o'clock, got on the road, got there about 4:30, unloaded the kayak, and 5 o'clock I launched and started heading to the back of this marsh. Lion's End was at 6 o'clock, so I wanted to be where I wanted to be to start casting by 6. So I got all the way to the back. I heard some blow ups on my way out, but I couldn't throw at them, so I just kept on pushing back. Got to the back of this marsh at about 6:15ish. Started seeing a couple of small schools. There wasn't a bunch of fish in these schools, so I took a couple of shots at them. Couldn't get any of them to eat. I started working my way. My plan was with the incoming tide, I like to throw against and have my bait coming with the water, so coming with the current. So I was going against the incoming tide, pushing out while the tide was coming in. I just like doing that because it gives I feel like it gives a more natural look of the bait. So I saw a couple of schools, threw at them, couldn't get any of them to bite. So I started working my way out of this marsh, and I didn't get one single bite in this whole marsh system. About 11 o'clock, I had made it back to the front of this marsh system, and I was down. I just put it like that. I was pretty down because I had high hopes for this marsh system for this tournament. And it had been a while since I fished this marsh. I wanted to fish it the weekend before just to kind of go out and see how things were. But even if I would have done that, there's no guarantee that a week later that they would have been there. That's the hardest thing about practice fishing whenever you only get to fish on the weekends, really, is you really need to stay on top of them. And I just couldn't get them. I couldn't get them to bite, and I couldn't find any more. So that could have been the end of my day. But I decided I still had 3 hours that I could fish. The weigh-in started at 1, ended at 4. So I still had 3 hours that I could fish. And the last spot where I did the Heroes on the the Heroes on the Water tournament, I caught one red, and it was a 22-inch red, and that's kind of where here's the story anyway. So I loaded up. I went to another spot that I like to fish, and I fish quite often. It used to be loaded with some good sized slots. Here lately, it's been a little bit lower slot, between 21 and 23. And the last 2 slots that I've caught out of there in tournaments have been 22. Both of them have been about 22 inches. They don't carry very much weight, but I mean, I think this one was a little bit heavier than my last one. I think the last one was 4.61. This one was like 4.8 something. So they're almost 5-pounders at 22 inches, and that's some pretty good weight. But I'm not catching the inches. So I need some bigger slots to come back in that area. I am going to keep fishing that area because it's a fun place to fish. I just need to find me a new area that holds some bigger fish and holds them year round like that place does. So I loaded up at 11 o'clock, made it to that spot by 11:30. I had 3 hours to fish because I needed to be loaded up and on the road by 2:30 to make it to the weigh-in, because the weigh-in was an hour from where I was fishing at. So I got there. I put in really quick. I probably looked like a maniac to the people that were bank fishing there. I put in like a maniac, got out there, and I just started casting my life away, trying to find one. I ended up catching a slot red, 22 inches. And about 5 or 6 casts later, I caught a 19. It was about a 19 and a half, 19 or 19 3/4, 19 7/8 trout. And my heart was pumping when I put him on that measuring board and saw how close he fanned to 20, but also how fat it was. It was a nice trout. I couldn't believe it. This is just, I can't catch 2 reds, but I can catch a nice trout. So luckily I was in the side pot for trout, ended up winning that. And both of those fish were caught on the Texas Roach Jawbreaker, Bite and Fight Angler Texas Roach Jawbreaker on a salty head jig, jig head 1/8 ounce, the Pro Series. So, and my Not My Fault rod. I'm gonna go ahead and put him in there too, because I love that rod. It's just so comfortable and easy to throw. I can throw it all day. I've done it the last 2 weekends, last couple of weekends in a row, just throwing it over and over, and I'll be throwing it again this weekend, the Galveston Redfish series. But the thing about it is at 11:30, this is the main point of the video. Don't give up. You never know when you're going to get that good bite. I could have called it quits at 11 o'clock, but the grit, and this is what I love doing. So, I mean, I had time to fish, so I'm going to keep fishing. I didn't know where I was going to go. I was kind of in a panic mode. At 11 o'clock with no fish, I was panicking. Like, I was just trying to figure out where I wanted to go next. How long would it take me to get there, and how easy is it going to be for me to get to where I need to start fishing? And my instinct was just go for what you know, and that's where I went and ended up pulling in a nice little red that didn't really get me anything in the money, but at the same time, it got me the points with it got me some points. None of the results have came out yet, so I don't know how many points I got, but I got points for it. The trout got me paid, and then it really wasn't a bad red if I would have had something to put with it. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with this place. I really kind of wish, after going there and hitting them the way I hit them, I wish I would have fished there the whole day. But you know, sometimes whenever we just, you know, tournament day, you want to go where the bigger ones are, and I haven't been catching really high slots out of there, and I've caught a lot of high slots out of that marsh system, and so that's what I wanted to do, and it ended up biting me. But all in all, in the end, I didn't give up, and went to that spot and pulled something out. So don't give up. If there's still time to fish, go fish it, and fish it as hard as you can, and don't give up, because I can tell you right now, it would have been super easy to give up at 11 o'clock, knowing that I had to load up and then unload and then load up again and then haul butt to the weigh-in. It would have been really easy to give up. So just dig deep, find a reason to keep going, and keep on fishing.